Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to use and deploy a very handy but it seems not too well known functionality inside of OBIEE. I'm going to be using the sample app 406 version today to demonstrate this, and what we're going to do is explore the deployment of the metadata dictionary. Now, the sample application comes with this functionality already deployed, but we're going to go ahead and walk through the steps to deploy the metadata dictionary as if you're doing it fresh on a new environment. So the way that you access the metadata dictionary is if you are in Answers on the Criteria tab, you can click on a logical folder and you'll see this little icon for Open Metadata Dictionary lights up. If we click on this, we can see that it drills us to the presentation layer inside of the repository, and then from this spot we can continue to drill down through the 3 layers of the repository file so that we can traverse all of the fields and attributes that are available to us at every layer of the RPD. So for instance, I can drill down to my logical table sources, and from there I can also drill to the physical data sources by continuing to just drill down through the objects. So this is a very handy functionality that can help a great deal with report development and allowing people responsible for developing reports to be able to find fields and measures and these attributes that might be useful to them, whether or not they're displayed in the presentation layer. Permission to the metadata dictionary is driven the same way that all of your other sort of catalog privileges are driven, and if we come into the Manage Privileges section of the Admin tab, you'll see that there is this access to metadata dictionary permission, and then of course you would grant or remove access to this the typical way you would to other functionality inside of BI. So let's take a look at how this is actually deployed. So the first thing that we're going to do is just take a look at the admin tool, and you can see that there is a tool for actually generating the metadata dictionary, and it's under the Tools, Utilities, and then Generate Metadata Dictionary. Each time that you upload a new repository to the BI server, it'll be necessary to regenerate this metadata dictionary and redeploy it. But it's a pretty simple process after you get through the initial setup. So let's dig into the initial setup. Here I have WebLogic Console up, and I'm under Deployments, and we can take a look here to see how this metadata dictionary is actually deployed. So I've worked through this example, and we're going to work through it again today, but right now we are deploying the metadata dictionary from this new metadata dict web application that we have here. And if we drill down into this, we can just basically see that, okay, we're deploying this from a directory which is on the BI server. It has a name, and that's ultimately how the WebLogic server knows how to deploy it. So what we're going to do right now is create a brand new instance of this on the server so that we can deploy this as if it had never been done before. So I'm going to pull up my MOBA Xterm, and we're going to start off just like we're on a fresh instance of the server. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is navigate down to where you're going to deploy this. So in Sample App, the directories used to deploy this metadata dictionary are in this instances folder, and you can see the path that I've put into MobaXterm here. So if we take a look here, you can see that I have this metadata dict, which was the original deployment of this that came with sample apt. We can see that we have this new version of it, which was the deployment that I just showed you. And now we are actually going to create a brand new instance of this to deploy it as if we were on a server that did not have this functionality deployed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just create a new directory, and I'm just going to call this demo metadata. And now if we do another listing, we can see our directory is created. So there's two things that we're going to want to do. I'm not going to go through the mechanics of actually getting the metadata dictionary file over. You can figure that piece out, but we can see if we switch to our metadata dictionary directory that the file, the sample app v406, that is our metadata dictionary file, is already here, and I'm just going to copy this to our new directory and use the recursive because this is and this will take just a second. Okay, so now that's copied over to our new directory, and you can see that the other thing that is present here is this web-imp folder. Now I could just copy this from here, but I want to show you where it's actually available. So what I'm going to do is actually switch to our new directory here. We can see that our sample app file is copied over there. And now we're actually going to copy the web-imp directory from where it lives on the server. And I've got this path saved off, and these will of course all be relative to the server that you're working on. So in this analytics res, I know that this web-imp directory is sitting there, and you'll find the same on your server. And now I'm just going to copy that to our current directory. And now if we do a listing again, we can see that that's copied over there. So that gives the WebLogic server everything it needs to actually do the deployment of this metadata dictionary. So now we are actually pretty much prepared. There's only one other thing we need to do, and that is change our instance config file. So I am going to switch over to the location of our instance config file. If we do a listing, we can see various iterations of this. So I'm going to just open instance config with our with Vim. Before you make any changes to your instance config file, I would highly recommend making a copy that you can revert to in case something goes horribly wrong. But in this case, I know I have a copy, and I'm also pretty confident in what I'm doing. So now that I've got this open, I'm actually just going to search for a tag here, and if this tag doesn't exist, you'll want to put it in. And I'm just going to type in subject, and you'll see here that we have this subject area metadata, and it has this dictionary URL prefix and this subject area closing tag. So that's all you need to be need in here to tell the server essentially where to look for this deployment. So you can see right here in the file that we have this new metadata dict in here, and I'm actually going to change this to the directory that we just created, which we called demo metadata. Alright, and all I'm going to do, I see a little typo there, that would cause a problem. And then I'm just going to save the file. And now we're actually ready to go out and deploy this metadata dictionary on the WebLogic server. So we'll switch over to WebLogic. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Deployments. And we are going to click Lock and Edit. We are going to install a new deployment. And then we're actually going to we're pretty close to where we need to get to already. We're just going to go ahead and add the path that we just created, which is that demo metadata. Click Next. We're going to just install this deployment as an application. We're going to select the BI server here. Go ahead and keep that name, make our lives easy, and click Finish. And this will take just a minute. Now that that is finished, we're going to go ahead and click the Activate Changes button. And now we're just going to scroll down and take a look here at what we have. We've got this demo metadata application that is sitting here, prepared, ready to go. And then you can also see that we have got the original that came with the sample app, and then this example I've done previously. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and stop that new metadata one. And this will just take a second, and then we're going to scroll down to our demo metadata application that we just deployed, and we're going to tell WebLogic to have it start servicing all requests. Alright, now that we've done that, the only thing we have left to do is actually, just as if we were uploading the repository, go ahead and bounce the BI server. So I'm in Enterprise Manager here. I'm going to go ahead and say Restart All. Okay, now that our BI server has restarted, we should be able to log back into the front end. And now if we take a look at creating a new analysis, we should be able to click on a logical folder here. And you can see that our metadata dictionary is still working, and most importantly, we can see that it is being deployed from the brand new deployment that we created. So that's how you set up the metadata dictionary. Last piece I want to show you here is what happens when you redeploy an RPD. So if we come into our Enterprise Manager console and we take a look at the deployment tab, you'll see here that you have this default RPD. So every time you upload a repository, this is going to increment. So let's go ahead and just upload a repository here. Now you can see here in the background that that has incremented the number for the repository to 12. And we know that the file we have down on the server is actually 11. So what will happen when we go ahead and restart the BI server is that the metadata dictionary won't actually be able to find a reference to the RPD file. And I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily change that after we get restarted here. So on the server, I'm going to switch to our demo metadata directory. And if we do a list here, we can see that the old version of the metadata dictionary is sitting here. If I had made a bunch of changes to my repository, I would obviously want to run the tool in the RPD tool to regenerate this file. But in this case, I know I haven't made any changes. I'm just re-uploading to show what changes when we redeploy this file. So I'm just going to go ahead and change the name on this file to match the repository reference that is created in Enterprise Manager when we re-upload the file. So I know it changed from 11 to 12, so I'm just going to go ahead and rename this. Now if we do a list, you can see that that's renamed. Okay, I've restarted the BI server after uploading a repository, and I come into a subject area and I click metadata, and boom, error 404 not found. Now this is really simple to fix. Okay, so if we come into WebLogic, all we need to do is lock and edit, scroll down to our demo metadata deployment. We want to click update, and really there's nothing to do, the path hasn't changed. Finish. Then after it finishes that, we click activate changes. And now when we come back into our business intelligence instance and start a new analysis, click on our folder, and now you can see that it has repaired itself. So it's just a simple process of clicking that update and finish every time you upload a new file, and the server gets all the references it needs, and your metadata dictionary will work as expected.